Okay, when writing an equation of a line that passes through these 2 points, I have given you guys the shortcut, menu 613. So we are going to do Control Dock, and we're going to do Calculator, and then we are going to menu 613. Control Right gives me my squiggly lines. And now I can plug in my x values, 2, 5, and then Control Right, -3, 1, and then I press Enter. And when I do that, it gives me some weird and ugly numbers, but I can press menu 2. When I do that, it makes it a fraction. Therefore, the answer is y equals 4/3x minus 17/3. That is how we are going to do it in the calculator. Now, you can do this problem by hand, but it would be difficult. I designed number 1 so that you could practice using the calculator. Number 2 also says to write an equation of a line that has a slope of -1/2 and passes through -6, 10. Now, this problem can be done by hand using point slope or slope-intercept, but I would like for you to try a shortcut just to check your work. Let's plot the point -6, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then go up 10. And if we plot the slope, meaning we would go down 1 and right 2, we have a new point. And that is -4 on the x and 9 on the y. Now we can do menu 613. Menu 613. Control right parentheses, -6, -4. Control right parentheses, 10, 9. We press enter and press enter again. I see a decimal. I want to know what it is as a fraction. Menu 2, enter. It gives me y equals -1/2 x plus 7. And that will be the answer for number 2. These questions were also on your quiz, so they will be on your test that you take Monday and Tuesday. Okay, and now I wanted to show you how to do number 2 by hand and show you that you get the same answer. So let's do it. Y equals mx plus b. Let's plug in m. M is -1/2. X is -6. Y is 10. 10 equals, when you put this in the calculator, if you have to, it will tell you 3. This just means what is half of 6, which is 3. Negative times a negative is a positive. Now I need to subtract 3 from both sides. And b equals 7. Take my 7 and the slope written in the problem and write your answer. -1/2 x plus 7. Now this way takes more time. This way takes more knowledge and more practice, but it's worth it because then you're doing the algebra without the calculator. Okay, let me show you how to do it using point slope. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. The slope is -1/2 x minus -6 equals y minus 10. Distribute -1/2. -1/2 x, this becomes a plus sign. So now you're going to do -1/2 times +6. That makes it become a negative again, or you might want to say minus. 1/2 times 6, that's 1/2 of 6, gives me 3. Now I move the 10 by adding it to 3, not 1/2. You can only add to two alike terms. This doesn't have a letter, so I need to add it to something that does not have a letter. That cancels. So y equals negative 1/2 x plus 7. And this match. So I just showed you how to do this with point slope. I just showed you how to do this with y equals mx plus b. On number 3, this is menu 613. Again, it is asking you to write an equation of a line. Menu 613. Control right, -2, 0. Control right, 5, 9. Enter. It gives me 2 for M, 9 for B. I am completed with this problem. Just that simple. Yes, you can do this by hand. I am just practicing the calculator method. We will definitely know how to do it by hand before we get to Algebra 2 and Geometry. And I'm saying Algebra 2 because I know that's coming in 2 years, and I'm trying to teach you and get you ready for what's to come in 2 years. So we have a big goal here. Number 4, plug in the something and the something to use y equals mx plus b. That is why it is named the Slope-Intercept Formula. Well, the missing words are slope and y-intercept. Plug in a blank and the blank to use this formula. That is why it is named the point slope formula. Well, you plug in a point and the slope. Write an equation of a line that has a slope of 3 and passes through -1, 5. Well, in number 4 it told us when you want to use this formula, plug in M and plug in a point. So we're given M and we're given a point, so plug it in. We plug in M in the M spot, the X of the point in the X spot, and the Y in the Y spot. I almost said B. We've done y equals mx plus b so many times, it's, stuck in my head. We don't use this as much. But we're going to start so that you can know how to do it for Algebra 2 in 2 years. So this changes to a plus sign because it's double negative, and I bring everything down. Now we multiply. 3 times this is 3x. 3 times this is 3. Bring down my 5. Now add 5 to both sides. That gives me 8. And now I have the answer for this problem. Yes, you can also plot -1, 5, and then go up 3, 1, 2, 3, and over 1. And yes, you can do menu 613 with that, but you would still get this answer. Number 6, y equals 3 and y equals 4 are parallel because they have the same slope. That is slope 0 for him, slope 0 for him. These two lines are perpendicular because they create a 90-degree angle. Remember, x equals 2 is this. 1, 2. That's x equals 2. Crosses the x-axis. Y equals 1 crosses the y. We have just created a perfect T. Therefore, we have a 90-degree angle. That's what it means to be perpendicular. So, now that we're done with the first page, I'm going to do maybe 2 or 3 more in this classwork assignment, and that will help you do your homework 3. Number 1 says, use point slope. This is M. This is my point. You do not write in the first spot, but you do write in the second. And you write y1. Well, y1 is -4, so write -4. You write M3 in the M spot. You write x in the x spot. 3x minus 6y plus 4. Subtract 4 only to the 6. Now y equals 3x minus 10. Let's do it again. You do not write in this spot. You do not write a number in this spot or this spot. I said you don't write in this spot. Let me correct that. You do write, you just don't write a number in that spot. Now, let's plug in everything else. M is -1. Put -1. X is -1. Put -1. Y is 5. Put 5. A negative and a minus and a negative, minus and a negative become a plus sign. Now distribute. -1x minus 1. Negative times a positive gives me a negative, so this is -1. Now I need to add 5 to the 1. And it's not +1, it has a minus in front, so we're going to treat this as -1. Y equals -1x plus 4. Number 3. Y, no number there, minus y1, -4, equals m, -1, open parentheses, x minus x1 is 2. -1x plus 2, y plus 4, minus 4 minus 4. Y equals -1x minus 2. Okay, now, number 5, let's ignore number 4. Number 5 says, look back at number 5 on the bell ringer. And the equation was 3x plus 8. Number 1, the equation was 3x minus 10. They have the same m, the same slope, that's why we call them parallel. Number 6, y equals -1x plus 4. Y equals -1x minus 2. They have the same slope, that's why we call them parallel. Why are the answers from 2 and 3 parallel? They have the same slope. So now, you should have enough information to do 8 and 9 on your own. I'm going to do number 10 now, excuse me, and number 12. The slope of y equals 6 is 0. There is no x next to it, so 6 is not the slope. The slope is not seen.
Patrick Moore, paging Patrick Moore. You're needed immediately in Miss Robinius's room.
Sorry. The slope of the next equation is 6. I'm trying not to laugh. That was funny. The equation, the slope of the third equation is m equals 6. The slope of the fourth equation is m equals 0. So I know we're distracted, so I'll start again. Y equals 6. The slope of the first equation is 0. It is not 6. It would only be 6 if there was an x next to it. The slope of the second equation is 6 because this is mx plus b. I see the x, therefore 6 is in the m spot. M is 6. Y equals 6x minus 7. M is 6. No x here. M is 0. Which lines are parallel? The lines that have the same slope. So, y equals 6x plus 5 is parallel to y equals 6x minus 7. I know some of you may think that this equation is parallel to this equation. Remember, this is not the slope because there's no x there. The slope is 0. So the only two equations that have a slope of 6 are these two. Therefore, the first equation and the fourth equation must be parallel. They both have slope 0. Number 12. Remember, perpendicular slopes, you change the sign and flip it if you see the slope in the equation. Well, we don't see the slope for this one. We know he's 0. but the slope for this one's not 0. I see an x. The x is not touching the number. It's equal to x. The slope of an x equals equation is always undefined. When you draw zero slope, when you draw undefined slope, you make a perfect T. It creates a 90-degree angle. Therefore, x equals 3 and y equals -1 will always be perpendicular. You look at number 12, equations 1 and 2. 2 over 3 changed its sign and became negative. And it was flipped. That is called the negative reciprocal. When that happens, you have perpendicular lines. Y equals 2/3 x minus 4 is perpendicular to y equals -3 over 2x plus 2. And that concludes our video. Before I end, I'll give you maybe 1 or 2 more examples about perpendicular. If my slope starts off as 3, what's perpendicular to, no, let's make it -3. If I have a slope of -3, what would be perpendicular to it? Well, first put it over 1 and then flip it. That gives you 1 over 3. Now change the sign from negative to positive. What does that look like in an equation? Well, one would say -3x plus 5. The other one would say y equals 1/3 x minus 1. Their slopes are perpendicular because this slope was negative, this slope is positive, so the sign changed. This was 3 and was flipped to 1 over 3. They meet both requirements. That makes them perpendicular. Another example, my slope is positive 1/2. What's perpendicular to that? Well, flip it, it becomes 2. But you gotta change the sign. It makes him negative. So that would look like 1/2 x minus 3. And y equals -2x plus 5. I see the sign change on the slopes, and I also see that it was flipped. This could also be 8. It could be positive 8. That concludes this video, and you should now be able to do homework